What is going on YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm going to be bringing you top 8 of Otakon regionals. We are going to be having D Reaper on the right, a deck that I'm sure nobody really expected to be making it this far in an event, but obviously putting in a lot of work. And on the other end, we are going to be having security control. So this is a matchup that I personally wasn't 100% sure how it was going to go. Leading up into it, I was told a lot of people think that the security control could be favored just because they could take down the Reaper. But getting on into the match, we saw turn 1, we had the Searcher come out, so we're going to be able to put it underneath the Mother D Reaper, and then they add the X antibody underneath, so that way they're able to get the drop a little bit faster here. We're able to get the reduction of the bubbles, which then allows to put another Searcher underneath. So already got 2 Searchers underneath, 3 targets for reduction, and just kind of turboing off. We saw on the other end they do play the Mimi. The Mimi is going to be really good with all these high cost option cards to kind of keep turn. They usually play anywhere from 3 to 4, so they can stack on top. We see another one coming out here, so if you play something out like a Flame Hell Scythe or even something like Chaos Degradation, you'll be able to save a lot of memory there and not give your opponent as much. It's also annoying on the other end if you're playing a lot of options. Mother D Reaper is not just that X antibody option, so probably won't come up as much on the opponent's turn, but setting up a Patamon in the back, gonna go with the Flame Hell Scythe here, again gaining 2 memory off those Mimis to be able to pop the Jerry and bring back the Salamon X antibody. Just get some bodies on the board, but Jerry's also a good card to get rid of. You don't really want them turboing up that fast into Reaper, so it is a high target to get rid of. But we saw the Starmons come out, the only yellow cards in the deck, but it does help pop a lot of these rookies. It's mostly meant for Psychmon, but it is going to be good versus just really any cheap rookies. Be able to put the opponent to 1, get an extra 1k rookie on the board that you can just swing in. You don't really care if it goes down or anything like that. We saw the Patamon swing and survive, which is going to happen a lot. These 2ks can survive pretty easily when there are 20 Searchers in your deck. Going to go with another Flame Hell Scythe here, putting the opponent at 3 again. Obviously probably going to pop the bubbles here. A little bit bigger of a target than the Starmons. The Starmons can't really put on any offensive pressure. It's going to go down anyway, as for the bubbles does get the boost from the Searchers underneath. But it's going to swing in, hit the Eden's Javelin, gets a draw, gets popped, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. And here comes the Dexmon. 2 Tamers and 2 Digimon on the board means that it is going to be reduced by 12, so going to be playing it for 8. You give security control 5 memory here, which is a lot, but a lot of the cards that they're going to play that would be super impactful here, like removal or even something like Magna Angemon, would pass turn anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Here we see the reinforcing memory boost. They are going to think about just tapping one of the Karis, but then they do decide to go with the second Kari. Chaos Degradation going on the top, so you're gonna have to swing into that and get through that soon. You don't really want to be swinging with that with the Reaper, but they did play the Holy Wave right there, so that means they get to swing again. Avenge Kidmon, so the Dexmon will stay. Ooh, and now the Gatekeeper, so this is actually really big. This adds a lot of pressure to the opponent's board, because now with the Chaos Degradation being the next check, we know if you were to swing with the Death Xmon here, you would hit the Chaos Degradation. They are more than likely going to be choosing the Death Xmon because you don't want to be putting Gatekeeper in security. So now they're going to either, if they don't hit removal to get rid of this Gatekeeper, then it's going to be pretty good offensive pressure here. But they are going to commit the Wyvern's Breath. It makes a lot of sense, especially with the Mimis. You just get to put your opponent at 2, get rid of the Gatekeeper, but you still are probably just going to swing in here, hit the Chaos Degradation. You do get an extra check. I don't think they're going to be picking the Searcher, so that doesn't matter that much. Swing in, hit that Chaos Degradation that we knew was there. Going to put it at the top, so now you know that Salamon, if you swing into that check, it is going to get deleted. You can get that recovery. They're still at 4 security, so you'll have to get -1 more to get that, but it is a little bit of security if they want to go for that. But right here, my camera did get knocked over by somebody passing by, so I tried as fast as I could to get everything set back up. I didn't want to make the players pause or anything in their match, so I just had them keep playing. But all we did miss was that the Salamon did promote. They went ahead and swung in. They're going to try to play the Eden's Javelin right here, but there is no yellow source, so can't actually play it. That is going to be pretty unfortunate for the security control player, because they were going to be able to put the opponent at 1 and get rid of the Pendulum Feet. They decided to go into the Magna Angemon instead to recover, but now the Pendulum Feet that stayed is going to be able to just swing into that check, so they aren't going to be able to keep that recovery. It'll just get negated, and the Pilates head is going to be able to get dropped for free, use its effect to spend, and pop the Magna Angemon. So still no yellow source. They will hatch, but now with nothing really on board, they are getting threatened pretty hard. There is 1, 2, 3, there's more than enough Searchers in there for them to be able to go for Reaper if they want to. And now we have 4 potential attacks next turn, and I don't think there's any way for them to be able to get rid of all of them. And if Reaper is in there, they're just going to be able to have a bunch of extra attacks. Looking in the D-Reaper hand, all I could really see was a Searcher and a Jerry. So I'm not sure if they do have it, but going with the Holy Wave here, going to be able to put the opponent at 1 and recover up, stall for a little bit, going to be able to swing in, hit the Wyvern's Breath, going to be able to pop 1. I think the Pilates set is going to be the most optimal one because that just is free pop. And then they hit the Holy Wave, so not going to be able to go in for swings anymore, but being able to get that Holy Wave out of the way is pretty good. If there's not another one in there and you clear that, you are setting up to potentially go in for game next turn, because we once again are having 4 swings, and swinging with the Salamon to get the recovery and hitting the Searcher for 1k, surviving once again multiple times. 2ks are going to survive. Sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse, and this time it was a blessing for the D-Reaper player and a curse for the Salamon player. They're not going to be able to get that recovery, and they are just threatened to go down. If their security is not more Holy Waves or just cards that are going to be able to hit removal, then they'll be able to swing in, potentially go in for that Reaper after they swing in with all the cards and have a pretty secure game here. But going to go in with the Avenged Kidmon, have enough cards to be able to pop, so going to be able to get rid of that Jerry, but we're still looking at 3 swings on board to the 3 security, so Reaper is super threatening right now. They could play a little bit defensive if they wanted to go over to the Salamon, but I think you just kind of want to keep playing into them, swinging into the Searchers. Swing 1, swing 2, hits the Darkness Wave here, so we're going to be trashing, going to be able to bring it back. I don't know what you would hit here. I think you're kind of in just hope that you don't go down this turn to Reaper, honestly. So going to grab the Patamon, so going to be able to get a little bit of recovery here, but now hitting the Holy Wave to recover 1. There is the Reaper in the hand, so you could play it and bank on not hitting something like Holy Wave, but it looks like they're going to go with the Pilates head to pop the Avenged Kidmon, and then just go for another Bubbles. No source to play down, but just want to play it safe. Want to make it so that they can swing into the last security, and then once all the security cleared, go for Reaper for game, just so way you don't hit removal or anything like that. Taking the more defensive play, I don't think you're going to get punished by it, obviously, but I do think you had a really high chance of just going in for game right there. Salamon swinging into another Searcher, so not going down 2 times in a row. These Searchers in security are just saving it and gonna scoop up there, not gonna be able to survive. You're gonna swing in. I think the Holy Flame is the only thing that's saving you there, and they might have just conceded because they either have the rest in hand. They know their deck better than we do, so gonna scoop it up right there and decide to go first, interestingly enough. As a security control deck, that is not something that I would really imagine seeing, but I guess if you're trying to get Tamers out early, then that does make sense. But now you do allow for 2 Searchers to come out, get some draw, and then go for the Holy Flame, be able to recover up. Now I'll go for the X antibody option. The Mimi is already suspended, so not going to be able to gain the effect there. And now we're going to be able to go for Jerry, and we are in turbo mode. I don't think Jerry's going to be able to go down in any way other than hard removal that passes turn, so there's a pretty decent chance that you could just have the Jerry stay till next turn. But considering they went first to play the Mimi, I do think that kind of just shows that they want to just go for full removal, clear everything off the board when they can. So here's the Ian's Javelin. Very easily going to be able to get rid of the Jerry there and then put the opponent at 2. So still a pretty decent amount of memory, because you're going to be able to play the Searcher for 1, put it underneath, and now you can play another Searcher for 1. But going to go with the Jerry to put another source underneath, sitting at 5 Searchers, I do believe, so getting close to Reaper. It's still pretty early in the game, so considering how we saw last game played, I don't think we're going to see Reaper anytime too soon. And then here we see swing, hit, reinforcing. That is kind of unfortunate, considering the fact that with the Mimis, they're already going to be able to cheapen costs, so now they could play something and keep turn if they want to play removal and keep turn for some reason. But still, when you're starting to go wide like this, it is really hard for this deck to keep up. It does have a lot of tall stack removal and just really strong removal in itself, but it doesn't go for wide removal that often. I do believe I see the Schwartzel Hearts in hand, but that card is not going to be effective against anything other than the Starmons, because it deletes by level, and none of these Digimon have levels. So they do have the wide removal, it looks like. It's just not going to be that effective. Chaos Degradation, going to put it at the bottom instead of the top this time, and then trash the top. 7 memory is quite the hefty amount to be giving D-Reaper right now, though. That's going to be able to really play a lot, especially with reduced cost. You can play something really big for reduced cost, and then even play something else really big for its full cost if you want to. But if we had bubbles, we could put a lot of Searchers underneath, but we're going to go with the Pendulum Feet. Reveals Reaper and 2 Gatekeepers, so that's pretty rough. Do have 7 sources underneath, so going to take the Gatekeeper, play it out and recover. You do have to put another one to the bottom as well as one of the Reapers, but if you have those in hand already, then you're fine. fine, but Gatekeeper out now is great. You're set up to be able to have your opponent have security tech -1, so they're not going to be able to do too much till this Gatekeeper's on the board, and you're just putting on more pressure to get swings going. You have double the security of your security control opponents, so you are looking pretty far ahead. They are just kind of cycling removal spells, which isn't as good right now versus this deck because it can just play so many cards. Went for the Eden's Javelin, but popped the Searcher instead of one of the attackers. Gonna go down to the Junomon there, and then the Gatekeeper swings in. It is very big right now, so not very many cards that are gonna be able to take that out. So get that check in. Gonna play the Pilates head out, so if they do play anything, you will be able to pop it. Plus 2 Searchers here, so you'll be able to put 1 underneath next turn, but mostly just going to get that cycle going. Looking for that Reaper. You're about at the point where, once again, all you need is 1 more swing, and with the Reaper, you do have game. So going with the Flame Hell Scythe here, going to be able to pop the Pilates head, bring back the Patamon, which does recover, so that is very nice because there is technically only 1 swing right here. Going to swing into another Flame Hell Scythe that will get rid of the Searcher, but I don't think there's any cards that can recover, so now the Searcher will cost 1. So you'll be able to get a little bit more cycle, but no Memory Tamers have been played from either player this set, I don't believe. So gonna play the Searcher for the free cost because they're gonna reduce it with all of the sources, and then play another Searcher to draw. So really just looks like we're cycling for Reaper. So the security control player is staying pretty good at keeping up and not making it so they can just go for a free Reaper. They're gonna oh, that's a pretty big misplay. They went down in battle, but the Gatekeeper is at like 18, 19k right now, so that is a pretty big misplay. With the Dexmon coming out, I guess it's not totally the worst since now you have multiple attackers. You might have Reaper now, but you should still have Gatekeeper on the board. Coming out with another Flame Hell Scythe, gonna be able to play out the Patamon to recover, and then Death Exmon's effect will pop the Patamon right there. So right here, I would assume you probably just want to try to swing in. Go in here first, and then Holy Wave again, so that keeps happening where on this final turn where they're considering swinging, they keep hitting the Holy Wave to prevent it, and now just gonna swing over the Magna Angemon, keep playing defensive, make it so, you know, they're not really in any rush. If you play slow, the D-Reaper player is in the position where they're going to win. They have so many sources, they're gonna get to a point where they could probably play like 2 Reapers in 1 turn, that's how many sources they'll have. But now we're just gonna swing in, hit the Death Exmon here, I believe that is not big enough. Gonna swing in here with the Pilates head. Once again, hitting in there and should be surviving, but if I do remember correctly, the judge does catch this one and fix it. So here, yep, there it is, the judge there saying that the Pilates head, there is 12 underneath, should be at 15. Swung into the Avenged Kidmon, which is at 11k, so it's another Digimon that should be staying on the board, which is very big. Once again, if we had that Gatekeeper to be able to swing in right here, we would have been able to get that last check, but it looks like we're just going for Reaper for game, so let's see what happens. If this is not Holy Flame or something like this is just game, gonna be able to swing, unsuspend, and take it, and D-Reaper moving on to top 4. So if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, because I'll be bringing you even more content from this event and BT9 in general. But with that being said, I will catch you next time. Hope you have a fantastic day. Peace out.